Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Spider Sound Off. This is Tom.
And this is Porter.
And we are here for another midweek pod. Porter, you want to give a little additional info on this podcast?
Just a reminder to the folks who are finding us for the first time. We are a fan-driven podcast. We like to educate, inform, but most importantly, entertain Spider basketball fans with both great stories from Spider basketball past, but also talk a little bit about the present using things like advanced analytics. But I also want to clarify what we're not. We are not a gambling podcast. So you won't find Tom or I making recommendation on sports betting on this podcast. In fact, neither of us have bet on a college basketball game this year.
Nope.
So we're not looking to do that. We will give you our hot takes. We'll give you our thoughts on outcomes, but we're not using it to do that. If you're a youngster and you have additional capital in hand, take it invested in the stock market, buy an index fund, consult a financial advisor. Do not, bet on sports. That's our recommendation to you. So
there's our legalese for the day.
That's our legalese for the day. We are not getting caught up in all of that stuff. It doesn't mean that we're not passionate though about outcomes.
Okay. So, as I guess all of you know, there was a tragedy this week. No, I'm not talking about our game at Elon. We'll get to that in a second. But talking about the tragic death of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, kind of they're murdered, what sounds like by their son. I don't want to go into a lot of details. It's kind of sad, but
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Everybody's innocent.
But we're going to try to honor Rob Reiner in this episode and some of his great movies. Like there was a streak from 86 to 92, which is kind of formative years for us. This is kind of high school, kind of college years for us. These are 5 movies in a row that he directed. Stand By Me
Great
in
movie.
86.
Loved it.
Princess Bride in 87.
Great movie.
When Harry Met Sally in 89. Misery in 90. Stephen King book, Misery. And then A Few Good Men in 92. So with the variety in that, it's like comedy,
incredible.
There's horror, there's a great drama.
I don't actually think I saw Misery, by the way. I saw the other 4. I didn't see Misery.
You need to see Misery.
Yeah.
That is one
I didn't think I saw that.
Awesome movie.
So.
But anyway, we're going to try to honor him today and some of his great movies, maybe to put a little twist in our normal pod. And we'll talk about the other tragedy that happened last night. The men traveled to Elon for a game that I said in the last pod, like if we're kind of 100 kind of sort of ranked team, like we're going to have a tough game, but I thought we would kind of beat them more handily because I thought we were better than that. And if you watched the game on Flow Sports or listened as I did to Scott Unger and Bob Black, there were moments where you just thought we were going to run away with it, but we ended up with a tough loss on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it on Flow, so the funny thing is, I personally am not as upset about the Elon loss as I was about the Furman loss, and here's why. I felt like with the Furman loss, we were coming off of a protected and bubble, right, of playing teams at the Robins Center, playing some bad teams at the Robins Center, and so that was our first real test of a decent team on a neutral court. The Elon game, I think it was in your scout. You kind of you gave me that one statistic which stuck in my mind that Bartorvik said we were only 51% likely to win that game. And so when it's a toss-up, I was like, okay, I'm overestimating kind of the outcome. So that was sticking with me as we went into the game last night. Here's my take on the game. We thoroughly outplayed Elon. I actually think it was a pretty good coaching plan because without the turnovers, I think we beat them by 20 points. I really do. We played... it looked like we were the better team in all facets except the turnovers. Now, you can't ignore the turnovers, right? There were 20 turnovers. So the question is, why were there 20 turnovers? Most of them, this thing that we've been calling the non-steal turnover percentage.
Unforced errors.
Unforced errors.
It was not great
right?
defense by Elon that led to that.
I have a theory on that too, by the way, if you want to share that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, we're playing very fast this year, and we're doing a lot of substitutions. We're playing a lot of different players. When you play fast and you substitute a lot, you often get folks on the court who, may or may not have a lot of reps, in the exact same lineup. So maybe a guy cuts left, the guy thinks he's going to cut right, you throw the ball out of bounds. I'm not saying it's not the right way to play. I'm actually a big fan of the way Mooney's playing it this year. I think that might be contributing to games like this where we have a spike in turnovers, which, caused the outcome that we saw last night, right? So
Yeah, let me give a maybe a different view of that, and I'll kind of use a quote from Spinal Tap. There's a fine line between stupid and clever.
He says it with an English accent.
Yes, he does.
There's a fine line between clever and stupid.
Now you said it
Oh, I
backwards.
said it backwards.
Okay, so anyway, we won in almost all the categories but turnovers, as you said.
Yes.
Something that when I look back at the box score that surprised me and made me kind of question some of the strategy in the game is you look at all the turnovers, but Tyne only played 15 minutes. He had no turnovers. So he's kind of let's say our veteran returning point guard. He's put up 25 plus minutes multiple times this season.
Right.
Only played 15 minutes, had no turnovers. David Thomas, another guard who can handle the ball, only played 6 minutes. So I think these are places where Mooney, for whatever reason, kind of shortened the bench some yesterday from a minutes perspective. I think two guys who, David's not playing as much as time, but I think he's averaging kind of more than 6 minutes a game. So I think there were, two guys who have been able to handle the ball, kind of did not have turnover issues when they went in yesterday. But for whatever reason, kind of Mooney made choices to play them less. And we end up with, in the second half, kind of poor shooting half. And while the turnovers got better, they didn't kind of get shut down in the second half. The first half, we shot great. And like you said, the first half, it looked like we were the dominant team. Their best player didn't really do much in the first half. But we couldn't make the important plays down the stretch. And that happens. Hopefully it's a great lesson for the team. But I did look at kind of, to me, it felt like we're a little in between let's say the traditional Mooney where he plays 5 guys, 25 plus minutes and has a few guys off the bench, and I'm going to play 10 guys and they're all going to play 15 to 20 minutes and I'm going to go with the hot hand. I didn't see all of that yesterday. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it does tell me that we are, if you go to Bardovic, it said prior to the Elon game that we're a 9-9 A-10 team. And I think I went into it with the optimism of I think we're much better than that. After you lose at Elon, it's hard to say we're a top A-10 team. That doesn't mean we can't be.
Right.
I think this team continues to improve, and I'm sure Mooney is making sure this team learns the lesson of going on the road. That's not the place to be turnover prone.
I can't complain about the minutes distribution last night when he plays Argerbright 26 minutes when I've been saying, the advanced stats say Argerbright is the best guard on the team. So I'm not gonna ding the coaches for that at all. I think they played the guys that they thought, were the right guys to play. I don't know why Thomas only got 6 minutes. I can't speak to that. I think Thomas actually has pretty good, advanced metrics. So I would like him to play more, but I mean, again, I don't have a problem with the minutes distribution. I thought the game plan was excellent. I just think we threw the ball out of bounds time and time again and careless, sloppy turnovers. And I don't think there's any one person that, is like played particularly, really badly. I will shout out to AP. I thought he had his best game as a Spider. I mean, he was a really defining force for the team for good last night. So I give him props. I thought Mike Walls' dunk at the end of the game to tie it up off of an offensive rebound was what I have been saying Mike Walls can do for the entirety of this podcast, and he did it. And so I want to give him props for that. I loved it. I thought it was a great moment in the game. We were the better team. I think honestly the kids the players made too many turnovers. We gave up too many points off those turnovers. And you play a team on the road. Road basketball's hard in the NCAA. You can't win games even against, I would call them a decent opponent if you're going to turn the ball over 20 times. Just can't do it. So shot the ball well from 3. We shot their free throws well. The main thing was just like literally we made careless mistakes, and that might be a function of the way we play. And if the way we play gets us into the NCAA tournament, which I'm not saying again it is, and I'm definitely not saying we're an at-large team. I think
we are not.
We're not an at-large team, but to get to an at-large team with this schedule, we're going to need, and this is through the A-10 tournament. When I say this number, we're going to need 27 wins. We're going to have to go 27-7 across the A-10 tournament and the regular season to have an at-large chance. Now, that being said, here's what I will say positively that I'm really encouraged about. I still think we have not played anywhere close to our best basketball yet. with this team. And I think that the players on this team and the coaches are still learning what we can be together. And that's kind of a Hoosiers line, actually. So that's not a Rob Reiner line.
It's not.
But we're still learning. And I think come the A-10 tournament, with the kind of rotation that Mooney has built and the minutes he's given these guys to learn, how to come together as a team, I think it'll all benefit us. And I think there's a very strong chance we could go on the run in the A-10 tournament. Now, Team Rankings has a number for that. There's about the only site I know that is actually tracking what the probability of us winning the A-10 tournament is. And I'll give you that here in a second.
Yeah, so while you're looking for that, I guess the last point I want to make is, like, it's one thing to play a team and lose and know that you lost to the better team.
Right.
I think when you have a game that you kind of the eye test, and really all the stats outside of turnovers would say we should win that game, and we don't.
Right.
And you're kind of, I'm not saying I'm assigning blame to one player or to the coaching or to the strategy, but you have to look at that and say there's a problem, because those are games you cannot lose. It's like if Elon just whooped our butt because their big guy had 28 points and we couldn't stop him, like, yeah, I'd be frustrated too because we lost, but it'd be like, hey, we're on the road and that guy just killed us. But like, that's not, like, again, I hope it's just a step in the growth of this team.
Yeah.
We are a third of the way through the season. We'll do some grades later in this podcast.
We're 3-2 against decent teams this year, which isn't great.
Yeah,
but it's also not terrible. So it's like we are, like what I said after the Furman loss, we are an above average team, not a good or great team. And we've got some really interesting athletes. I think we are somewhere between an above average team and a good team. And I think that we still have a couple chapters to write in the season that could be special.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because I think when we get, let's say, another 10 games in, do we look back at a game like this and say, gosh, our team is so much different now, we're so much better? Or I get a little bit worried. Like, I think we're kind of about the same team over the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
And so, like, what is that next level and how do we get there? Is it just kind of gelling because he's playing, a lot of new players, a lot of kind of rotations that are different, that they get kind of used to that? Or does some things need to change in kind of minutes and rotation to, like, get to where now all of a sudden, like, we're like, woo, this is a different team than we were in, mid-December?
I mean, I think I'll and everybody, I think, who listens to us, and even the coaches, know that I tout advanced stats quite a bit. I go back to our goals for the podcast when I say this next sentence. We want to elevate the women's team because we know how special that team is right now. We want more people showing up for the girls. We want an analytics, person embedded in the athletics department that helps the coaches achieve better results. I think that right now what Mooney's done is actually brilliant in that, he's played 12 guys, a lot of minutes. So we have a lot of data that we can use, right? Now I think, you want to start looking at that to try to figure out, what are the optimal lineups? How do you play guys together? What should the shifts be? There are things that we can do there. I also believe, by the way, that, analytics can help with recruiting. I believe it can help with, what Jim Merritt's doing, raising money for the program. Evan Maya is the one site I've been using a lot to kind of talk about the optimization features. There was a great article that just came out about the University of Michigan. Everybody knows University of Michigan, right? They're pretty good at basketball.
Yeah, but we're not talking about analytics for the next 10 minutes.
No, we're not. I know,
we
but
just lost half the audience.
I'm just saying, I think that we can use analytics to kind of not right the ship, but to achieve better results than even we're seeing right now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Did you find out what's the probability that they have for us?
Yeah, I say this, but I don't love team rankings, guys. They give us 1.6% chance of winning the A-10 tournament, so not good. But like I said, there are things we can do to change that outcome for the better.
Okay, so in a better outcome, the day before, I guess it was, the women had Education Day at 11 a.m. game at the Robbins Center. I did not make that game. I have a job. But Porter was able to make that game. And what was the screaming level? Was it?
It was
as
awesome,
deafening as you expected?
It wasn't as bad as I actually remembered it. But it was great. Like, there was a lot of energy. There was a lot of noise. I had a couple people sit with me. One of them said they might be renaming their fantasy football team "Screaming Bats of the Outback." So I think you're on to something from our last episode. Here's a couple things I'll say about that team, or about the team.
The Outback.
Bethune Cookman, they were overmatched, and we kind of knew they were overmatched. I probably shouldn't have said there was 0.0% chance that Bethune Cookman was going to win that game. I am a data guy, and it is not necessarily true because there was always a chance, right? But we knew that we were going to be the better team. The ladies came out and they played like you would expect. I mean, Maggie Dugan at times looked like a college player playing against high school kids. She just was the best player on the court, and it wasn't even really close. She just dominated.
Well, I mean, Rachel had a great game too.
Rachel, I'll get to Rachel in a second. But I'm saying Maggie could kind of do what she wanted to do. And if she played more than 24 minutes, she could have had 40 points. She could have had 20 rebounds, and she could have had 10 assists. That's how good.
I was wondering if we'd get the triple double, but we did not.
We didn't. Well, we mentioned she would have to play 34 to do it. I mean, it was close. She had passes that,
she had a double-double.
And here's the thing. There were multiple times she hit a cutter to the layup, and that cutter got fouled and made their foul shot. She doesn't get an assist for that, but she created those points. But Maggie looked unstoppable in that game. Rachel, and in my mind, I was hearing the song "Forgot About Dre." When it comes to Rachel, all it takes is one game to wake up the 3-point shot, and then you forgot about Dre.
You just lost the other half of the audience in that reference.
So, Dr. Dre, a great producer and also rap artist of the 1990s.
You didn't
2000s.
even describe who Dre was.
But anyway, I thought Rachel, we've called her a future Hall of Famer here. Coach called her that. John O'Connor wrote an article, I think yesterday or the day before, that said the same thing. She showed up in a major way and looked like, the kind of Rachel that is going to carry us far and potentially carry us far in the postseason. And you know what I was thinking about when I was watching her game yesterday? You remember Chris Fleming?
Yeah, of course. Great 3-point shooter.
Back in the 1991 timeframe when we beat Syracuse, which is how we started this whole podcast, episode 1, right? We went and beat Syracuse. We lost the second game to Temple. This came from a fellow Spider fan, so I got to give credit to my sources. They wanted me to mention this. So Chris Fleming against Temple in the second round of the NCAA tournament went 7 for 10 from 3-point land. If you put a Rachel-like performance in the NCAA tournament with what Maggie's doing, what Allie's doing, what Alicia's doing, you're going to beat a lot of teams. I mean, so that's the thing I love about what Rachel brings. Any game, she can literally take over the game with her 3-point shot. She stretches the defense. She gives us the ability to have cutting lanes. So, she looked really good.
Hey, just to note, Porter mentioned there's a Richmond Times-Dispatch article from John O'Connor talking about Rachel and some of kind of what brought her to U of R. We did interview Rachel back in episode 16.
Yeah, go give that a listen.
So go give that a listen. You'll hear kind of Rachel's words of kind of what brought her to Richmond, kind of her connection to a former Richmond great player. But anyway, episode 16, go check that out if you can.
I think my buddy who I was with the game with looked it up, and there have been 8 triple doubles in women's college basketball this year. So I'm waiting for it to be number 9 with Maggie because I think she's going to get it. She's going to get it.
Yeah.
Let me give you a couple other nuggets. So Simon and Dewey played together. So I thought Simon was really good defensively. She played a really physical game inside because I was sitting right down kind of close to the basket. I saw how physical that was. She played really well. And I thought Dewey shot the ball extremely well. So I think our 5 really had a nice game. We played all the players on the team. So you got to see a lot of run from a lot of kids, which was great. And then one shout out to Allie, right before halftime, we were up big. And it was a simple thing, but this is the kind of what a smart point guard does. So there was only maybe 2 seconds left on the clock or a second and a half. And there's not time to get the ball and get it up court. So you have to take at least a dribble. So Allie pressures the inbound pass. I mean, I watched a lot of the folks start running down the court. Allie pressures the inbound pass. Coaches are trying to get everybody to turn around to pressure the ball so they can't get to the half court shot, right? Yeah. And she ended up deflecting it out of bounds. They didn't even get a chance to have a possession. Just a smart play that doesn't show up in the box score. So I want to give Allie a shout out on that. That was just really good.
Yeah. So a good win, an expected win, and hopefully the elementary school and middle school players all came out of there fans of the women's team.
It was loud and it was great. I don't know if it was screaming bats of Outback loud, but it was really loud.
Okay, so before we get to the previews of the upcoming games, we kind of noticed we're about a third of the way through the season and thought we should do some grades of both the men's team and the women's team, and also grades of the A-10 men's and women's. So we'll spend a little bit of time on that. I'm going to start and talk about the men. I was making some notes before the game last night, like what grade am I give the men? And I was thinking an A, And then that game happened, and that loss was inconceivable. And so I'm giving the men
It's a
again,
Princess Bride shout out for you guys.
please don't tell people where these quotes are from. If they don't know where they're from, then that's okay. They just need to go check out those 5 movies I mentioned in the beginning. But anyway, so I'm giving the men kind of first third of stretch a B minus.
Okay, so you dropped them from an A to a B minus.
I did.
Over one
from A
loss.
to a B minus.
Man, we are emotional fans, folks.
So, I mean, I think we're kind of where we should be. It's hard. Like you could, like if you say C is average, like I think we're kind of where we ought to be. If you went back and said like over this stretch, like what would our record be? I think it's where it probably was predicted to be. Again, B minus is above average. I'm not sure we're all the way to the B yet. We're certainly not an A because you think of our 2 losses are both ones that we'd love to try again and get back. But anyway, B minus not a bad grade. I think there's room as well. I think I'm hoping in the second, third, I could elevate that to a B plus, and by the end they could be an A. But I think right now through 10 games, like we got some good things going on. I think kind of the rotation is still a bit kind of changes a lot. We've got the same starting rotation, even though that's not really the 5 who are playing the most. But anyway, I'll just B minus. I won't go into much more detail. I think it's where they are now. We'll see where they end up, but it's hard coming off a loss like that.
I too had an A going into the game, and when I wrote my notes for this episode, I lowered it to a B plus after the game. One loss, again, it wasn't a loss that is. I don't want to read too much into it. We just played a game where the players had too many turnovers. I mean, I go back to our preseason expectations. We put together a good team this year. I mean, Jaden Daughtry, Aiden Argabright, Will Johnston, AJ Lopez, these guys coming in. And then you got elevated play from guys like Beagle and Rumaglu, who are playing really, really great. Mike Walls is showing leadership. I mean, we're better than what the prognosticators said we were going to do. I mean, we were A-10 preseason 10, which I called disrespectful. I don't think we're the 10th best team in the A-10. I think we're a top 6, 7 team. I'd say we're probably top 6 team right now. So I'd say that's above expectations. Not an NCAA tournament team as far as I can tell right now. Doesn't mean we can't be one, but we're not playing like it right now. But there's some real reasons for optimism. We've gotten a fair bit younger, and we're getting production from younger players. Whereas last year, coming out of that season, I didn't see a lot of room for hope. I really have a lot of room for hope with some of the play of Thomas and Daughtry and others, Argabright. So I think that we're a B plus. I mentioned 3-2 against decent teams on the road, or against decent teams this year. I could see us still getting better and better as we refine this product that we're working on here. And I think by the end of the A-10 tournament, I wouldn't want to play us because we're very hard to scout, as I keep mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, we talked last podcast about how good are we going to be in the A-10? It's really hard. The A-10 is we'll grade them in a bit, but there's been some up and downs in the A-10. So
let me give one quick award.
Yeah.
It's the These Go to 11 award.
Yes, this is on the men's team.
These go to 11. 11 players are still averaging double-digit minutes, which I'm a fan of. I think that's been a really good thing this year. So will that shorten? Perhaps by the end of the year. But I love what the coaching staff has done to generate minutes, generate playing time so that they can kind of assess what's working and what's not.
Okay, well, let's talk about the women's grades. Porter, I know kind of you're their number one fan. But before I give your grade, or hear your grade, let me give mine. I'm going to say a B plus.
Okay.
And I'll use a quote and try to explain how it relates to the team. But this is there's too much pepper on my paprikas. Can you say that, Porter? There's too much pepper on my paprikas.
I cannot.
Okay, I use that reference. I think if I look at the season, again, B plus, good grade. I think the team is playing well. I wish there was a little less reliant on Maggie being, that much better than she was last year. When you look, I mean, I'm glad that she's looking like one of the best players in the country. But I think there are times where it's like, as she goes, we go. So we've been slow getting out of the gate, and her shooting percentage in the first quarter is her worst quarter shooting percentage. So I think, and now it's great that we're coming from a game where Rachel kind of had her season high. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for that to change. But I think that when I say there's too much pepper on my paprikas, just a little too much of this is the Maggie show sometimes. And I love that she stepped up. I don't want her to change a thing. but it's like, how do we get the other 4 out there to step up their game in the next third so that Maggie can score her 23 points, but now we're beating teams that are, the A-10 top teams by 15 points because everyone else has elevated their game.
Yeah, so
I would be proud to partake in your pecan pie.
I too have a B+, but for different reasons altogether. We came in with a preseason top 25 ranking. We have 2 future Hall of Famers on this team. You've got Allie and Alicia.
At least 2.
At least
we've got
2.
some freshmen.
Right. I know. And like and my next statement is Allie and Alicia, I think are making serious strides in their cases going forward to be, all-time great Spider players. We've played a brutal schedule. Yep. Give the team credit for stepping up and playing anybody anywhere. I mean, Fairfield's a top 40 team. Green Bay's expected to win their conference. Columbia was expected to win their conference at the start of the season. Liberty expected to win their conference. Navy expected to win their conference. And then, oh, by the way, 2 top under 10 undefeated teams in TCU and Texas. You could not have asked the team and the coaching staff to have put together any more of a challenge, right? So it hasn't been a setup where I think you're going to see a lot of the players that you want to emerge as, major contributors where they have been able to do it. Alicia has clearly done it. She has taken the level on her defensive side to the next level. There were 3 steals in a row she made in that game against Bethune-Cookman. Like, she stole the ball. They inbound it, she stole it again. Then they inbound it, then she shot foul shots or whatever. And then the 3rd time down the court, she stole it again. The 4th time, they made a business decision to not let the person Alicia was guarding bring the ball up the court, right? She's taken a huge step forward. Allie is playing like, an all A-10, first or second team point guard. She's just such a good leader. Rachel is really coming alive and playing well too. Even when she wasn't, being, last year's Rachel, she's still an all A-10 first team caliber player.
Yeah.
So now you're seeing some games where we're going to actually roll opponents. Bethune-Cookman, I think the game on Saturday will win pretty handily. All this Sunday will be a much tougher test. We're kind of doing what I thought we would do. I mean, I think 20, we'd have 5 or 6 losses. We have 3. I said we'd lose the 3 games we lost. TC, Texas, and Fairfield would be the 3 that we'd lose in the non-con. I do think we'll win the other 2 games.
I think you said we'd lose Columbia.
Did I say Columbia?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to go back and check that. But yeah, I think we're right where we expected to be. I think Dewey and Simon are flashing a little bit at the 5, and I think as they continue to come into form. If you remember, Alyssa Jimenez wasn't the best Alyssa Jimenez until the end of the season last year.
She was hurt to begin the year, but right.
But the transfers take time to come into the system. The freshmen, I mean, Perchetti and Wright look really promising. Others are getting minutes and starting to get their feel for the game. So I just feel like that they're right where we thought they were going to be. Not an A because, we didn't have anything that blew our mind, but we're still very much in the at-large conversation for the ladies.
That's right.
So I'm very happy.
Hey, before we grade the A-10, how the A-10 has done so far, I got a request that we need to do kind of grading of our beer choices at Spider Brews.
Okay.
So at the next Spider Brews, I think we'll do something more formal. We'll have to try every beer they have and give us a rating.
We won't be doing the post-game presser if we do that.
No. But anyway, I'll just start and say, the beer I enjoyed the most at Spider Brews was kind of the classic Hardywood gingerbread stout. They did have that available.
Beer. I did not try it, but it's such a good beer.
It's a really good tasting beer. It's also, again, part of the objective for me in Spider Brews is how to get your money's worth. So if you're gonna, you got to get that high ABV beer as part of your drinking. So that was my
I got my
number
money's
1.
worth with that plate of food that you called attention to on the last podcast, by the way. So,
do you have a favorite beer from Spider Brews?
So I only did a half pour on a couple of the IPAs. I did a High Ally, and I like the High Ally, but I love the Clever. I think it was Clever Girl.
Clever Girl,
the Triple Crossing, which is the same place that makes Falcon Smash. So I loved the Clever Girl. I was really impressed with it. So that would be my favorite.
If I could have one food for the rest of my life, that's easy. Pez. Cherry flavored Pez, no questions about it. Okay, let's talk about the A-10 grade.
I promise we did not actually take any sort of preparation into this episode. Some of these lines are just dropping, baby.
Okay, Porter. So we're going to talk about the A-10. What do you want to hear?
Men or women's? I want you to, if we're going to talk about A-10 teams, I want you to tell me the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall.
Okay, A-10 men, I'm giving it a C-. So last year we ended at the 8th ranked conference according to Bardovic. That's exactly where we are now. So the conference is not better than it was last year at this point. And I think that grade goes not, I mean, it's not just looking at the top teams. I mean, St. Louis has got a really nice ranking right now, whether you're looking at the net or Bardovic. But it's hard to ignore Loyola Chicago and what a disaster that team has been. A team that was expected to compete in the A-10.
Lost to Chicago State.
Is one of the worst teams in college basketball. There's talk about, will they replace the coach mid-season, which won't happen. But there's they pay, it's the rumors that they paid a lot for that roster, and it is just not worked out. And as great as St. Louis has been, the way the A-10 schedule works, they get to play Loyola Chicago twice.
That'll hurt them, yeah.
And I'm making a prediction. They lose one of those games. So I think Loyola Chicago is going to be the thorn in the A-10 side, because they're going to end up going 9-9 in the A-10, and they're going to beat someone like St. Louis. They're going to beat someone else who's a top-rated team, because they'll start coming together, and it's going to just drag the A-10 down. So anyway, C-. I think we've had some teams like St. Louis, I'd say, outperform. I'm not sure we've outperformed. But you got to look at Loyola Chicago and say that's really hurt the conference.
You're really salty this morning, by the way. C-. That's harsh.
Hey, you may call me a meathead. Not only that, I'm a pompous ass.
I would say the A-10 is a B for me this year. Here's why. St. Louis has very strong at-large aspirations. Yeah, if they lose to Loyola, they'd be screwed. But they are an at-large team right now. VCU, our nemesis down the road, is an at-large team right now.
No, I don't think
two top 50 teams.
I don't think they are.
Absolutely,
they're a bubble team that doesn't get in. They don't have any wins.
I think the A-10 is going to get 2 teams in. I would give us an A if we were going to get 3 in, but I see us getting 2 in right now. I think your best bets are St. Louis, VCU, Dayton. George Mason looks really good. George Washington, they had that unexplainable loss to Delaware, and that's killing their chances right there. But they looked like the best team up until that Delaware game. I mean, I think we're better than I think people were thinking we would be. You have Davidson playing well, St. Bonaventure is playing well, Rhode Island's playing well. It's actually pretty good up in the top 2/3. But I agree with you. Loyola has been an F, and they've been an F-. They've been a real disaster this year. And LaSalle's not helping things. Fordham's not helping things. And St. Joe's had their coach leave right before the season started. That didn't help things. So
okay, let's talk about the women's.
Let's do it.
I got the women's A-10 at a B.
Okay.
Again, ranking-wise, they ended last year. This is Bardovic ranking the conferences with all the stats. They were 8th ranked conference, so similar to the men's are now. They're 6th right now.
Wow.
So that's been nice. Davidson and Rhode Island have had some good wins. They've been playing well. Obviously, I think Richmond is right where in that kind of at-large category as we'd expect them to be. So I think on the women, I think the women's A-10 had a good year. Now it's still obviously early. We'll grade it again in another 10 or 11 games, but I'm giving the A-10 women a B.
I'm going to give it a B+. I mean, we're really good. Davidson's really good. Love to see it. Rhode Island looks good. They have a good win, too, at Rhode Island this year. George Mason was expected to compete with us for the division. They're always going to be tough. St. Joe's is always tough. Yeah, we've got, I would say, 5 marquee teams, and that gives us a chance to have marquee wins down the stretch. And we play some of those teams twice, so that'll even be more of a chance for wins. I'm very happy with the A-10 women's conference this year.
Okay, so we're going to try to do some previews quick. First, talk about this For the Culture tournament, which it starts Friday. VCU Penn State is on Friday. Then we play Alabama A&M on Saturday, and then we play Penn State on Sunday. Have fun storming the castle. Alabama A&M stinks. That game is going to be in a blowout. They have 3 quad 4 wins. They're 3-7, so they're only at home. They've had a tough schedule. So if you look at some of the teams they've played some really good teams. But every time they play a good team, they're losing by 20. They're losing by a lot. So I think Alabama A&M, which I think only has 1 game in this tournament, or again, exhibition, whatever you want to call this thing. But we play them on Saturday. Again, Friday night, Penn State plays VCU. Now, VCU women's team they have not had a good year. So Penn State's favored to win that by a lot. But that'll be a good chance to kind of see how Penn State is doing on this neutral court, because that's going to be a much tougher game on Sunday.
I mean, Penn State is a really good team, and they have a huge center inside. So that Sunday matchup is going to be a really tough matchup for us. I don't love that we're playing on Saturday and they play on Friday. That means they have an extra day of rest for us. But if you're looking to come out and support the ladies, come to the Henrico tournament, especially for the Sunday game. That is going to be that is an at-large kind of like that will get noticed if you beat Penn State on a neutral.
So Penn State is 6-4. They've lost 3 in a row, but that's 2 quad 1 losses and a quad 2. They lost to Nebraska, Arizona State. They just lost to South Carolina, 95-55. So I think we've been on the, and maybe it wasn't that brutal, but we've had some, our 2 losses in top 10 teams. They weren't really close, so I think we can appreciate where Penn State is coming from. That doesn't mean they're a bad team.
Right.
They get whooped by South Carolina. Porter mentioned their center, Gracie Merkel. She is 6'6".
Yeah, she's a tough player.
She's a senior, averages 21 points, 8 rebounds. She scored 39 points in a loss to Princeton.
Wow.
So, I mean, you think of how great Maggie has been. And again, thankfully, we haven't needed Maggie to score 39 points, but that's a lot of scoring. Now, she is not a good free throw shooter, so maybe the little hack-a-Merkel. She also, what I really appreciate, she has shot no 3-point attempts. If you're 6'6" in the women's game, you don't need to learn how to shoot 3-pointers. Get inside, get rebounds, get layups. I appreciate that she doesn't try to learn a 3-point shot. She doesn't need that. She's going to be, I don't know, how we're guarding her. Now, some of her losses, she hasn't scored a lot. So I think there's a bit of if we're shooting our threes, we're doing our cuts, our offense is going to make her not help really be an impact on the defensive side. And then, we play a great matchup switching defense. So while she'll get, she's always going to have a smaller player on her. I don't think she's going to be able to or their guards aren't going to be able to get her the ball in these easy layup positions because of the rest of our D.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, so I'll definitely be there. Hopefully we'll see a lot of Spider fans there wearing red, so yeah.
And then the men, Saturday, we have a home game.
Play Citadel.
Against the Citadel. So you can see both. The women's game against Alba A&M is earlier in the day.
Get to Citadel for the
You can see that and then maybe enjoy a little happy hour and dinner and then go watch the men kind of rebound off of that Elon lost, hopefully a big home crowd to watch them beat a Citadel team. Where is Citadel in the rankings? Are they top 10, top 20?
They are actually the 8th worst team in Division I, coached by Ed Conroy out of Charleston. Here's what I'll say about them. Here's why I'm a little if you're looking for a reason to worry, and I'm not, they have played well their last 2 games. They played a tough South Carolina team on the road, lost by 16, and they played Charleston. They played a Charleston team, lost by 4. And because it's a military academy, they're not going to quit, and there'll be no give up in that team. They're going to fight like mad all the way to the end.
Bulldogs, is that what they are?
Yeah, they have 0. Exactly 0 Division I wins this year. I'll give you $1 if you can name a single team they've beaten.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, here are the 3 teams.
But I will tell you this: if come Sunday they have a Division I win,
yeah,
we're opening up the grade book.
I don't want to be on that podcast. Erskine is one of their wins. I've never heard of Erskine. North Greenville, that's an auto dealership, not a college. And Southern Wesleyan. Those are the 3 teams they've beaten.
Hey, don't go against Northern Wesleyan. They're tough.
The Northern Wesleyan is the tougher game. So we should win this game pretty handily. I would say it'll be a double-digit win. Chance for the team to get right after that Elon loss. Yeah, they're not going to be a huge threat.
Well, it's fun. We got a lot of basketball coming up. We got before the culture tournament. Make sure you get there, support our women, and maybe just support some other games too. I think you can get a ticket for the whole tournament or individual games. So go check out for the culture tournament. Get some tickets there. So it's nice. We've got a couple women's games. We've got a men's game coming. So a lot of basketball this weekend.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to celebrating hopefully on Sunday with some good Spider news.
That's right. So we'll see you back after this podcast. We'll do another one on Monday. I think that'll be somehow we're going to do our Christmas episode with Christmas coming up. It might be the only episode next week. But until then, this is Tom.
And this is Porter.
And this is Spiders sounding off.
See ya.